Alright. Welcome back to BarrelNGrain. Tonight, we're going to review what ADHD Whiskey said was his guilty pleasure. So, stick around, find out. We're going to see if it really lives up to the hype. Alright, welcome back. Welcome back. We're here today on this fine, beautiful day, and we're going to be reviewing Legent. So, Legent is from the Jim Beam Distillery. It actually has, let me get this name right, because I'm not very good at pronouncing Japanese names. This looks like Shinji Fukuyo. Master Blender, it's Suntory. So, obviously, you've heard Jim Beam, Suntory. They're kind of one. But basically, they got the Master Distiller at Jim Beam, which is Fred Noe on here. And they also have the Master Blender, the Fukuyo, from Suntory. And they help put this whiskey together. So, today we got a Kentucky Straight Bourbon whiskey, partially finished in wine and sherry casks. So, by partially, I'm assuming some of it probably didn't get finished in there, and some did, because otherwise it would be all finished, not partially. The legendary creators behind some of the most revered whiskeys have come together to bring you something special. So I know the Japanese blender, they're known for basically blending whiskeys. If you ever get to look them up, they have a huge portfolio of stuff they put together. They actually, I've seen some where they take whiskeys from all different countries, put them together to create unique blends. This one here comes in at 47%. It was $45, I believe, in my area. I think I've seen some of it go down to $35. This one's actually been pretty available, at least in my area. I've seen it sitting around. A lot of people don't really pick it up too much. Reviews on it are kind of hit or miss. More on the miss side, it seems like, because it is a finished bourbon. So some people, they're just not into finished bourbons. And plus, it's got to be wine and sherry cask finish, so it's got to be your thing if you're going to really want to drink this. But $45, let's find out. So, I already have poured in my glass, kind of let it open up a little bit. And overall, my first thought when I smelled this is it actually smells a lot like Knob Creek, which is Jim Beam, you expect that. But it does smell like, white label Jim Beam either. It actually smells a little bit better, and it really has the nutty notes, very well baking spice. If I actually poured a bottle of my Kentucky Knob Creek 12 year, it'd be pretty close to that nose-wise. Yeah, definitely has like a little bit of baking apple. The nuttiness is there, and obviously the baking spice. So, I think the palate is really where this thing opens up, and the sherry and wine cask finish comes in. From the way I've seen it done on other reviews. So, let's find out. So, first taste, you definitely get a Knob Creek vibe off of it, but right as after that hits, it kind of does roll into the sherry and cask and wine cask finish. Man, I'm really surprised how you don't really smell the sherry and wine quite as much on the nose, or at least it hasn't opened up enough. I mean, it could be where like the one bottle I have of the Basil Hayden's port finish rye, that thing there, I mean, it smells like bourbon until you shake it up, and then it overwhelmingly is port. So, I'll tell you what, actually, the sherry and wine cask finish is right kind of at the end. It more or less complements it. I know it's not overwhelming, doesn't overtake the bourbon itself. Still got a lot of the baking spice, still get that Jim Beam nuttiness. Maybe a slight bit of like clove there. I'll take a little drink, maybe wash the palate off, try it again. For overall, this smells really good. kind of blows my mind because Knob Creek 18 was my favorite last year, and I absolutely love it. Knob Creek 15 I have. I just actually haven't opened it. And the Knob Creek 12 was obviously a fantastic pour, especially for the price point. Overall, this gives me the Knob Creek vibes. Starting to get a little more of the sherry wine cask finish. It's like taking all that Jim Beam notes, or the Knob Creek notes, and then just bring in a slight sweetness at the end, almost like it just tapers off. And I guess that would be why it says it's partially finished. And then you can actually see why people would actually think this is actually pretty decent. For the most part, I don't really see why it gets all the bad reviews. There's nothing bad that I can really pull off this whiskey. I mean, it's definitely palatable. It's $45. And the wine and sherry is a slight finish at the end. Overall, blend-wise, obviously, Japanese, they've been doing lots of blending. This is actually pretty decent. So I will give ADHD a little bit of credit there. Like, I can see why this could be a little bit of a guilty pleasure. Because overall, this is actually pretty good. And for $45, I can't really say a whole lot bad about it. Because at that price point, in the market today, I mean, $45, you could still be at the bottom shelf. So, overall, Legent, it's pretty decent. I don't know the years on this. I was actually trying to look it up a little bit. But at 47%, finished bourbon, so obviously it's aged and then it's put into other barrels, which usually brings up the price up a little bit more, but still staying at 45, and then also having Fred Noe in there, and then also having the Suntory Master Blender working on the same. I mean, you got two people that have lots of experience in the whiskey, and they're coming together to create this. This bottle turns out pretty well for $45. I'll give it that. So, good news is glad I watched that video, because I slept on this probably just like a lot of other people that saw it, and I was like, $45, sherry finish. I'm like, it's probably a 2-year-old bourbon slapped in there with some wine and sherry cask trying to cover up all the young notes on it. But overall, you do get the dried fruits, and overall, it's really well blended and finished. I'm actually surprised. It's pretty decent. So, kudos to that one. I got that one in my collection now, and I'll probably be drinking this more often, especially at $45 price point. Yeah, it's really just like a Knob Creek with a slight sweet finish at the end. And I mean slight. It's not overwhelming at all. It's lightly there. I've had a lot of other stuff that sherry and wine cask finish that is significant more flavor from the cask finish than what this bottle itself has. So that's my take on Legent tonight. If you get a chance, I would definitely worth trying, especially at this price point. If you haven't got a bottle and you're thinking about getting a bottle also, don't be afraid to pull the trigger on this one. This one here, you're not going to regret it. But that's my review for tonight. So thank you for stopping in, checking out the video. Like, comment, subscribe. When you do get to try this, go for it. But in the meantime, lots of bourbons out there, so keep hunting.